The Millionaire's children cried non-stop. What the maid did surprised everyone. Joyce Miller was cleaning the same crystal vase for the 10th time that morning, trying to drown out the desperate screams echoing through the mansion's second floor. For 3 days, the boss's children hadn't stopped crying, and none of the 5 hired nannies had managed to stay in the house for more than a few hours. The children's crying started on Monday, right after the 5th nanny slammed the door and ran out. The businessman Gregory Harrison paced back and forth in the entrance hall, phone pressed to his ear, trying to hire yet another professional. His voice sounded tired and desperate. "Please, ma'am, it's just temporary. I can pay double the normal rate," he pleaded into the phone. Joyce went up the stairs with a tray of cookies and warm milk. She had worked in the house for 15 years, since before the children were born. She knew every corner of that place, every family photo, every memory stored in the old furniture. When she reached the bedroom door, she found Caleb, 7 years old, clinging to his sister Sophie, 5, both trembling like leaves in the wind. "Where's Mommy?" Sophie asked between sobs. "When is she coming back?" Caleb, even though younger, tried to comfort her with jumbled words. The two were sweaty, their little faces red from so much crying. Joyce set the tray on the small table and approached slowly as she did when they were babies. "Hi, my darlings," she said in the softest voice she could muster. The children looked at her with swollen eyes. Sophie stretched her little arms toward Joyce, who immediately picked her up. Caleb clung to her leg, still crying softly. "We don't want any more nannies," Caleb murmured. "They're mean to us." "What do you mean, sweetie?" asked Joyce, stroking the boy's blonde hair. "They stay on the phone and don't play. And when we cry, they yell," explained Sophie, hiding her face in Joyce's shoulder. "Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps us who are just starting out." Now continuing. Joyce felt her heart tighten. She had known those children since they were born, saw their first steps, heard their first words. She knew they weren't crying out of tantrums. Something was really wrong. "Let's go downstairs and talk to your daddy," she suggested, picking up Caleb as well. They went down together to Gregory's office. The 42-year-old man seemed to have aged 5 years in 3 days. His clothes were wrinkled, his hair disheveled, and dark circles deeply marked his face. "Joyce, thank you for trying to calm them," he said, not looking up from his computer. "I'm trying to resolve this nanny situation, but it seems our house has gotten a bad reputation in the market." "Mr. Harrison, may I speak with you?" He finally looked up and saw his children clinging to Joyce like 2 little vines. "Of course. Caleb, Sophie, go play in the living room while we talk." "No!" both children shouted at the same time. "We want to stay with Auntie Joyce." Gregory sighed heavily. Joyce realized he was at his limit. "Sir, with your permission, I would like to look after the children today. Temporarily, of course." "Joyce, you already have your duties in the house. I can't overload you." "They've known me since they were little. Maybe they'll feel safer with me." Gregory looked at his children, who had stopped crying for the first time in 3 days. Caleb and Sophie watched the conversation intently, as if they understood their fate was being decided at that moment. "How much would you like to be paid for this?" "No need to pay anything extra, sir. I just want to see them well." For the first time in days, Gregory smiled. A small smile, but a genuine one. "All right. But if it's too much for you, let me know immediately." That afternoon, Joyce prepared the children's favorite snack, grilled cheese sandwiches cut into heart shapes and orange juice with colorful straws. They ate everything, chatting excitedly about cartoons and toys. The atmosphere in the house had completely changed. "Auntie Joyce, can you sleep in our room tonight?" asked Sophie, still afraid the nightmares would return. "Of course, Princess. I'll make a little bed for myself right there on the small sofa." At bedtime, Joyce sang the same lullabies she used to sing when they were babies. Caleb and Sophie fell asleep peacefully for the first time in days. Gregory appeared in the bedroom doorway, watching the scene with emotion. "Joyce, how can I ever repay you for this?" "Seeing them happy is enough, sir." In the middle of the night, Joyce woke to a strange noise. Caleb was tossing and turning in bed, murmuring something in his sleep. She moved closer to tuck him in better and heard words that made her blood run cold. The lady said Daddy doesn't like us anymore, that he's going to send us away. Joyce gently shook the boy to wake him. Caleb, sweetie, you are having a nightmare. What lady is this? The boy opened his frightened little eyes and looked around, checking if he was safe. The lady who comes here when Daddy goes to work. She brings candy and wants us to call her Mommy. Joyce felt a tightness in her chest. Gregory hadn't mentioned any woman visiting the children. What does she look like, this lady? She has long black hair and wears pretty clothes. She always brings presents. But she says things that make Sophie sad. What kind of things? That our daddy is tired of us, that maybe it would be better if we went to live with other people. She said she knows a really cool place where kids stay without their parents. The boy's words echoed in Joyce's mind like an alarm. Who was this woman? Why didn't Gregory know about these visits? And most importantly, what were her intentions with the children? The next morning, Joyce waited for Gregory to finish breakfast to start a conversation. Mr. Harrison, may I ask a personal question? Of course, Joyce. After yesterday, you can ask me anything. Are you seeing someone, a special woman? Gregory seemed surprised by the question. Why do you ask? It's just that the children mentioned a lady who comes here sometimes. I was curious. Gregory's face lit up slightly. Oh, you must be talking about Vanessa. I met her a few months ago. She's a wonderful woman, very affectionate with the children. Why, did they say something? Joyce hesitated. She didn't want to cause trouble, but she also couldn't ignore what Caleb had told her. Caleb said she talks to them when you're not here. I was worried because the children seemed scared. Scared? But Vanessa loves children. She always brings them gifts. Sir, with all due respect, perhaps you should talk to them about these visits. Sometimes children interpret things differently. Gregory nodded, but Joyce could tell he didn't give the matter much importance. This worried her even more. That morning, while playing with the children in the garden, Joyce tried to find out more details about this Vanessa. Sophie, do you like it when your daddy's lady friend comes here? The girl stopped playing and grew serious. She's pretty and brings candy, but I don't like the stories she tells. What stories? She said our daddy works a lot because he doesn't want to be at home with us, and that maybe we'd be happier somewhere else with other kids. Caleb joined the conversation. She also said our mommy left because we were too much trouble. Joyce felt a deep anger growing in her chest. How could anyone say such cruel things to children who had already lost their mother? Listen to me carefully, my loves. None of that is true. Your daddy loves you very much, and your mommy didn't leave because of you. She got sick and went to heaven, but she loved you more than anything in the world. The lady said you were going to leave too, whispered Sophie. That's why we got scared of the nannies. Now Joyce understood. The children were terrified because they thought everyone who took care of them would abandon them. This Vanessa had planted seeds of abandonment and rejection in the little ones' minds. I'm not going anywhere, Princess. I'm going to stay here and take care of you for as long as needed. That afternoon, when Gregory arrived from work, Joyce asked to speak with him privately. Sir, I need to tell you something important about this Vanessa. What is it, Joyce? You look worried. The children told me things she said to them, things that explain why they were crying so much. Joyce reported everything she had heard from the children. Gregory listened in silence, but his expression changed as she spoke. This doesn't make sense. Vanessa has always been affectionate when I'm around. Why would she do that? I don't know, sir, but children don't lie about things like this. I'll talk to her today. That night, Gregory called Vanessa and scheduled a meeting for the next day. Joyce felt uneasy, sensing there was still much more behind that situation. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now continuing. The next morning, while Gregory was at the office, Joyce watched a black car stop in front of the house. An elegant woman, approximately 35 years old, got out of the vehicle. She had long black hair, exactly as Caleb had described. She wore an expensive dress and high heels. Joyce opened the door before the woman could ring the bell. Good morning. Can I help you? Hi, I'm Vanessa, Gregory's girlfriend. I came to pick up some things I forgot here. Mr. Harrison is at the office. Would you like me to call him? No need. I know where my things are. Vanessa entered the house as if she owned the place. Joyce discreetly followed her, observing every move. The woman went straight to the living room and picked up a magazine from the coffee table. Where are the children? Asked Vanessa, looking around. They're playing in the backyard. What a shame, I brought them some cookies. Joyce noticed Vanessa seemed disappointed not to find the children alone. Do you come here often? Whenever I can. I love children, especially those two. Something in the woman's tone put Joyce on alert. There was a coldness behind the apparent sweetness. I'll let Mr. Harrison know you've arrived. No need, I'm already leaving. Vanessa left the house quickly without insisting on seeing Gregory or the children. Joyce found the behavior very strange. That afternoon, when Gregory arrived from work, he seemed downcast. How did the conversation with Vanessa go, sir? Strange. She denied everything the children said they must have misunderstood, that maybe they're making things up because of losing their mother. And do you believe her? Gregory hesitated before answering. I don't know, Joyce. Vanessa has always been perfect with me, but the children were truly traumatized. It's not normal for them to cry like that for days. She was here this morning, said she came to get a magazine. A magazine? What magazine? One that was on the living room table. But the strange thing is, she asked about the children and seemed disappointed when she learned they were playing in the backyard. Gregory became thoughtful. Joyce noticed he was starting to become suspicious too. Joyce, can I ask a favor? If she shows up here again when I'm not around, could you write down everything she does or says? Of course, sir. I was already thinking of doing that anyway. That evening during dinner, Gregory tried to talk to his children about Vanessa. Caleb, Sophie, do you like Vanessa? The two children exchanged a look before answering. She's pretty, Sophie said diplomatically. But we prefer Auntie Joyce, Caleb added. Why do you prefer Auntie Joyce? Because she doesn't say sad things, Sophie replied, and she doesn't say that Daddy is tired of us. Gregory looked at Joyce, who nodded, confirming the children were telling the truth. Listen to me, both of you. Daddy is never, ever going to get tired of you. You are the most important thing in my life. But the lady said... It doesn't matter what she said. She was wrong. Daddy loves you more than anything. The children smiled, but Joyce noticed there was still insecurity in their eyes. Vanessa's words had caused deep wounds. During the following days, Vanessa didn't appear at the house. Gregory seemed more relaxed, and the children went back to playing normally. Joyce thought the problem had been resolved, but it didn't last long. On Thursday morning, a week after Gregory's conversation with Vanessa, she showed up again. This time she rang the doorbell and waited politely at the door. Good morning, Joyce. Is Gregory in? No, ma'am. He left for an important meeting and won't be back until late afternoon. What a shame. I brought some presents for the children. Vanessa showed a bag full of expensive toys. Joyce realized it was an excuse to enter the house. May I leave them here for Mr. Harrison to give to them later? Actually, I'd prefer to hand them over personally. May I wait a little while? Perhaps they'd like to play with me. Joyce felt obliged to let her in. The children were watching cartoons in the living room, and when they saw Vanessa, they became visibly tense. Look what I brought for you, Vanessa said in an overly sweet voice. Caleb and Sophie looked at Joyce for approval before approaching. They took the presents politely, but without showing any joy. How about we go play in the garden? Vanessa suggested. No, thank you, said Sophie. We want to stay here with Auntie Joyce. Joyce noticed a strange glint in Vanessa's eyes when she was rejected by the children. Don't you want to see the new toys? They're very special. Later, replied Caleb, hiding behind Joyce. Then I'll just stay here and chat with you, said Vanessa, sitting on the sofa. Joyce stayed nearby, pretending to tidy up the room while observing the interaction. Vanessa started talking about school, asking if the children liked their teachers and classmates. Do you know there are special schools where you can live during the week? Vanessa asked casually. Caleb and Sophie looked at each other fearfully. What do you mean, live at school? Asked Caleb. They're places where children stay all the time playing with other kids. It's a lot of fun. But we don't want to live far from Daddy, said Sophie, beginning to get distressed. Sometimes daddies think it's better that way, especially when they have a lot of work and can't take proper care of their children. Joyce felt her blood boil. Exactly what the children had described was happening. "Excuse me," Joyce interrupted. "Mr. Harrison made it clear he doesn't want anyone talking to the children about school without him being present." Vanessa looked at Joyce with irritation. "I'm just chatting. There's no harm in talking about education. Even so, I prefer to respect my employer's instructions." "Your employer?" Vanessa laughed disdainfully. "Soon I'll be the lady of this house, so I'll be the one giving the orders here." The children looked at Vanessa in astonishment. Joyce realized the woman's mask was slipping. "Lady of the house?" Sophie asked innocently. "That's right, dear. Your daddy and I are going to get married, and when that happens, a lot of things are going to change around here." Miguel began to cry softly. Louisa ran to Joyce's lap. "We don't want Daddy to get married," shouted Miguel. "We just want Daddy and Auntie Joyce," Louisa added. Vanessa was visibly irritated by the children's reaction. "You'll have to accept it, whether you want to or not, and you'll have to learn to respect me." "I think you'd better leave," said Joyce firmly. "The children are getting upset." "I'm not going anywhere. This house is also mine." "Not yet, Ma'am, and until it is, their father is the one in charge of the children." Vanessa stood up abruptly, grabbed her purse and walked toward the door. "You'll regret challenging me," she said to Joyce, "especially you." After Vanessa left, the children were very shaken. Miguel was crying profusely, and Louisa was trembling in Joyce's lap. "Auntie Joyce, did she tell the truth? Is Daddy going to marry her?" "I don't know, sweetheart, but even if he does, nothing will change between us." "She's mean," said Miguel between sobs. "I don't like her." "I don't like her either," Louisa agreed. "She says things that make us sad." Joyce spent the rest of the afternoon comforting the children and waiting for Gregory to come home. When he finally returned from work, he found his children still visibly shaken. "What happened here?" he asked, worried. Joyce told him everything she had witnessed. With each detail, Gregory's face grew more serious. "She said she's going to own the house." "Yes, sir, she did. And she told the children about boarding schools where they would live far from home." "Where they would live far from home?" Gregory repeated, incredulous. "Daddy, are you going to marry her?" asked Miguel, his eyes still red from crying. Gregory knelt down to his children's level and hugged them. "I won't make any important decision without talking to you first. I promise." "But you like her, right, Daddy?" asked Louisa. Gregory hesitated. Joyce could see he was truly confused about his feelings. "I thought I did, but after everything that's happening, I don't know anymore." That night, after the children fell asleep, Gregory asked to talk with Joyce in the kitchen. "Joyce, I need your honest opinion about Vanessa. Are you sure you want to hear it, sir?" "I am. You can speak without fear." "Mr. Harrison, this woman is manipulating your children. She's planting seeds of insecurity and abandonment in their minds. That's not normal." "But why would she do that?" "I don't know, but I have the impression she wants to push the children away from you, as if they were an obstacle for her." Gregory was silent for a long time, processing Joyce's words. "Do you think I'm being deceived?" "Sir, what matters is how the children feel. They are afraid of her, and children usually have a very good instinct about people." "That's true. Ever since I met Vanessa, they've never shown genuine affection for her. And there's something else, sir. Today, when she left, she threatened me, said I would regret challenging her." Gregory looked up, alarmed. "She threatened you?" "Not directly, but her tone was intimidating." "Joyce, this is getting serious. I'm going to break up with her tomorrow." "Be careful, sir. Women like that sometimes react badly when they're rejected." The next morning, Gregory called Vanessa and arranged to meet at a restaurant to talk. Joyce stayed home with the children, but was anxious about the outcome of the conversation. Miguel and Louisa spent the day calmer, playing in the garden and helping Joyce with the household chores. It was as if they sensed something important was happening. "Auntie Joyce, if Daddy doesn't marry the mean lady, will you keep taking care of us?" Louisa asked during lunch. "Of course, sweetheart. I love taking care of you all." "Are you never going to leave?" insisted Caleb. "Never. You're stuck with me forever," joked Joyce, making the children laugh. In the afternoon, Gregory came home with a heavy expression. The children ran to hug him, but he seemed distant. "How did it go, sir?" asked Joyce when she managed to speak with him alone. "Terrible. When I said I wanted to end it, she was furious. She said horrible things about the children, that they were obstacles, that I'd never find a decent woman with these spoiled kids." "Good heavens. Did she really say that?" "She did, and she said I'd regret choosing the children over her." "More threats." "Even worse. She said she knew me better than I imagined and that she had ways to make me change my mind." Joyce felt a chill run down her spine. What did she mean by that? "I don't know, but I'll keep an eye out. And I'll talk to a lawyer to see what measures I can take if she starts harassing me." That night, the children slept peacefully for the first time in weeks. Joyce was tidying the kitchen when she heard a strange noise outside. She looked out the window but saw nothing. In the early hours, she was awakened by Caleb calling her name. "Auntie Joyce, there's someone in the garden." Joyce got up quickly and looked out the window of the children's room. There was indeed a shadow moving near the bushes. "Stay here, I'll wake your father." Joyce knocked on Gregory's bedroom door. "Sir, there's someone in the garden." Gregory got up immediately, grabbed a flashlight, and went out to check. He found footprints in the damp soil near the children's windows, but no sign of the intruder. "I'll call a security company first thing tomorrow," he said. "I won't risk the children's safety." Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now, continuing. In the following days, life at home began to normalize. Gregory installed security cameras and hired a night watchman. The children went back to playing carefree, and Joyce officially took on the role of caregiver. But the peace didn't last long. A week later, Joyce received a strange call. "Hello? Joyce, this is the children's school. We're calling to confirm the transfer of Caleb and Sophie." "What transfer? There was no transfer." "But we have a request here signed by the children's father. They are to be transferred to a boarding school next week." Joyce felt her blood run cold. There must be some mistake. Mr. Harrison did not make any such request. "Can I email you a copy of the document for confirmation?" "Yes, you can. But I assure you something is wrong here." Joyce hung up the phone with trembling hands. She ran to Gregory's office and told him about the call. "That's impossible. I would never request a transfer to a boarding school." "Sir, I think Vanessa is behind this." "But how could she get my documents?" Joyce remembered something. "Sir, she's been alone in your house several times. She could have taken some document or photo of yours." Gregory immediately called the school and clarified that he had not authorized any transfer. The secretary confirmed that someone had brought in forged documents. "I'll file a police report," said Gregory. "This is now document forgery." "Sir, perhaps it's better to talk to a lawyer first. If she's forging documents, she might be planning something bigger." That afternoon, while Gregory was at the lawyer's office, Joyce was playing with the children in the living room when the doorbell rang. She looked out the window and saw Vanessa at the door, accompanied by an older woman she didn't know. "Who is it, Auntie Joyce?" asked Caleb. "No one important. Keep playing here." Joyce answered the door without opening it completely. "What do you want, ma'am?" "I came to pick up the children," said Vanessa with a fake smile. "Pick them up? What do you mean?" "This is Ms. Eleanor from Social Services. We received a report that the children are being neglected." The older woman showed a badge. "Good afternoon. We need to check the conditions of the house and speak with the children." Joyce knew something was very wrong. "Can I see this report?" "That will be discussed with the children's guardian," said the woman curtly. "The guardian is not home at the moment." "Then we'll wait," said Vanessa, pushing the door and entering. Joyce felt cornered, but she couldn't stop a social services worker from entering. "Caleb, Sophie, come here," called Vanessa. The children appeared in the living room reluctantly. "Hello, children, I'm Miss Eleanor. I came to talk to you about how you're being cared for." Caleb and Sophie hid behind Joyce. "We don't want to talk," said Sophie. "Yes, you do. It's very important," insisted the woman. Joyce was desperate. She tried discreetly to grab the phone to call Gregory, but Vanessa noticed. "There's no need to call anyone. This is a standard procedure." "What kind of report was made?" asked Joyce. child neglect. It was reported that the children are left alone with an unprepared housekeeper, that there is no proper supervision, and that they show signs of emotional trauma. Joyce was shocked. All these allegations were lies, but how could she prove it right then? "Children, are you afraid of anything at home?" asked the woman. Caleb and Sophie looked at Vanessa fearfully before answering. "Only of her," said Caleb, pointing at Vanessa. "Interesting," said the woman, writing something in her notebook. "Why are you afraid of her?" "Because she says bad things about Daddy," explained Sophie. Vanessa tried to intervene. Children imagine many things. They have trouble accepting that their father needs to move on with his life. "That's a lie," shouted Caleb. "You're mean." The woman kept writing, but her expression began to change. "Miss," she said to Joyce, "do you have any documents proving you are authorized to care for these children? I've worked in this house for 15 years. I've always taken care of them when needed. But do you have any official documentation?" Joyce did not. She had never needed anything official before. "In that case, the children need to be temporarily removed until the situation is clarified." "No!" shouted Caleb and Sophie together. "We don't want to leave here." "It's only temporary," said the woman, but she was already starting to look uncomfortable with the situation. At that moment, the door opened and Gregory rushed in. "What's going on here?" "Daddy!" The children ran to him. "Sir, I'm from Social Services. We received a report about child neglect." Gregory looked at Vanessa angrily. "And who made this report?" "That's confidential." "Vanessa, did you do this?" "I don't know what you're talking about." She lied. Gregory picked up the phone and dialed a number. "Mr. Lawrence, this is Gregory. Can you confirm to this social services person that my children are under proper care?" "Thank you." He passed the phone to the woman. "Hello? Yes, I understand. No, it's not necessary. Thank you." The woman hung up the phone and looked at Vanessa suspiciously. "Sir, the children's pediatrician confirmed they are well cared for and healthy. Apparently there was a mistake in the report." "What kind of mistake?" asked Gregory. "Someone provided incorrect information about the family situation." Gregory looked directly at Vanessa. "And who would be capable of doing such a thing?" The social services woman began to gather her things. "Sir, I apologize for the trouble. We are required to investigate all reports, but it's clear there are no issues here." After the woman left, Gregory turned to Vanessa. "You made this report, didn't you?" "I didn't do anything. I'm just concerned about the children's well-being. Sneaking out after trying to remove my children from my home." "Gregory, you're being dramatic. You just what? Forged my signature to transfer them to a boarding school? Made a false report to social services?" Vanessa realized she'd been found out. "Fine, I did. Someone needs to think about those children's future. You're too blind to see they need a proper structure." "Proper structure? They have everything they need here. They have a housekeeper as a nanny. That's no life for children of your social standing." Gregory was furious. "Joyce is worth 10 of you, Enev. She genuinely loves my children, something you've never shown. I can love them too, I just need time. Your time is up. I want you to leave my house now and never come back." "Gregory, think about this. Are you going to be alone forever? No woman will accept coming second to 2 spoiled children. My children don't come second. They are the absolute priority in my life. You'll regret this. The only thing I regret is letting you get close to my family." Vanessa left the house, slamming the door. The children, who had watched the whole argument, ran to hug their father. "Daddy, is she not coming back anymore?" asked Sophie. "Never again, Princess, never again." That night, after the children fell asleep, Gregory sat with Joyce in the kitchen to talk. "Joyce, I don't know how to thank you for everything you've done for us." "You don't need to thank me for anything, sir. Those children are special to me. I want to make you a proposal." "What kind of proposal?" "I want you to be the children's official nanny, with a proper salary, benefits, everything on the books." Joyce was moved. "Mr. Harrison, it would be an honor. And there's more. I want you to live here. There's a room upstairs that can be yours." "Live here?" "The children feel safe with you, and after everything that's happened, I need someone I trust taking care of them when I'm not here." Joyce wiped a tear that rolled down her cheek. "I accept, but only if the children agree." I'm sure they'll be happy. The next morning, Gregory gathered the family in the living room. Caleb, Sophie, I need to talk to you about something important. The children sat on the sofa, curious. How would you feel if Auntie Joyce lived here with us? Forever? Asked Caleb with shining eyes. Forever, confirmed Gregory. That would be the best present in the world, shouted Sophie, jumping into Joyce's lap. Then it's decided. We are officially a family. During the following weeks, life in the house transformed completely. Joyce moved into the upstairs room, the children went back to attending school normally, and the family routine settled harmoniously. Gregory hired a lawyer to ensure Vanessa could no longer approach the family. He also took legal steps to formalize Joyce's position as the children's legal guardian in case of an emergency. 1 month after the episode with Vanessa, Joyce was preparing lunch when she heard loud voices in the garden. She looked out the window and saw Caleb and Sophie playing happily with other children from the neighborhood. "This is our Auntie Joyce," Sophie was saying to a little friend. "She's the best nanny in the world." "She cooks better than my mum," added Caleb. Joyce smiled, feeling her heart warmed. She had never had children of her own, but now she knew what it was like to love unconditionally. In the afternoon, when Gregory arrived from work, he found the children doing homework at the kitchen table, while Joyce was preparing the snack. "How was your day?" he asked, kissing each child on the forehead. "Great. Auntie Joyce helped me with math," said Caleb. "And she's going to teach me how to bake a cake tomorrow," added Sophie. Gregory looked at Joyce with gratitude. "You are very lucky to have Auntie Joyce." "We know," the children said in chorus. That night after dinner, the family gathered in the living room to watch a movie. Caleb and Sophie snuggled between Gregory and Joyce on the big sofa. "Daddy," said Sophie during the movie, "aren't you going to get another girlfriend?" Gregory looked at Joyce before answering. "Why are you asking that, Princess?" "Because we don't want anyone else trying to send us away. No one will ever try to do that to you again. I promise." "But what if you're alone when we grow up?" insisted Caleb. "I won't be alone. I'll have Auntie Joyce and you will always be my children, even after you're grown up." Joyce was moved by Gregory's words. "And you will always have Auntie Joyce too," she added, "even when you're adults with your own families." "So we're a family forever?" asked Sophie. "Forever," confirmed Gregory and Joyce together. 2 months later, Gregory organized a small party to celebrate the official adoption of Joyce by the family. He invited a few close friends and neighbors to meet the new family structure. "Everyone, I want to officially introduce Joyce Miller, who is no longer our employee, but an integral part of our family," announced Gregory during the party. The guests applauded, and the children ran to hug Joyce. "Auntie Joyce saved us from a wicked witch," said Caleb innocently, making everyone laugh. "She wasn't a witch, son. She was just a person who didn't know what real love is," Gregory corrected diplomatically. During the party, a neighbor commented to Joyce, "What an inspiring story. You must be a very special person for this family to love you so much." "Actually, they are the special ones. They gave me a family I never had." "You never had children?" "I never married. I always took care of other people's children, but now I know fate was preparing me to take care of these children." That night, after everyone had left, the family gathered in the kitchen to clean up the mess from the party. "Thanks for the party, Daddy," said Sophie. "It was the best party of my life." "Why was it the best?" asked Gregory. "Because everyone saw that Auntie Joyce is really part of our family. And no one else will try to separate us," added Caleb. Gregory hugged all three at once. "Never again. We're a team now." 6 months later, the family's life had settled into a perfect routine. Joyce woke up early to make breakfast, took the children to school, picked them up in the afternoon, helped with homework, and organized fun activities. Gregory, in turn, began working less and dedicating more time to the family. He came home for lunch whenever possible and never missed dinner with the kids. One day Caleb came home from school with an essay he had written about family. "Auntie Joyce, do you want to hear my essay?" "Of course, sweetheart, read it to me." "My family is different. We don't have a mother, but we have the best babysitter in the world. Auntie Joyce takes care of us as if we were her own children. She knows our fears, our dreams, and always knows what to say when we are sad. Once a bad woman tried to separate us from Daddy and Auntie Joyce, but our family's love was stronger. Now we are happy forever." Joyce couldn't hold back her tears. "It's the most beautiful essay I've ever heard in my life." "It's true, isn't it? We are happy forever." "Yes, we are, my love. Forever." Over the weekend, the family had an important conversation. Gregory wanted to travel with the children during the July vacation and wanted Joyce to come along. But as family, not as an employee, he made a point of clarifying. "Where are we going?" asked Sophie excitedly. "I was thinking the beach, a resort in Maui. What do you think?" "Only if Auntie Joyce comes too," said Caleb. "Of course I'm coming," said Joyce. "I can't wait to see you playing in the sand." The trip was magical. The children had more fun than ever, and Joyce experienced the feeling of a family vacation for the first time. Gregory treated her as an equal at all times, and they took turns looking after the children. On the beach, while Caleb and Sophie built sandcastles, Gregory and Joyce talked. "Joyce, can I ask a personal question?" "Of course." "Do you regret not having had children of your own?" Joyce looked at the children playing and smiled. "I did have children of my own. I just didn't carry them in my belly. But I've carried them in my heart for 15 years. They are very lucky to have you. I'm the lucky one to have them, and you too." "Me? You gave me the chance to be a mother. That's the greatest gift anyone has ever given me." On the last day of the trip, the children asked to take a picture of the complete family on the beach. In the photo, the 4 of them appeared hugging, smiling, with the sea in the background. "This will be our official family photo," said Sophie. "Let's frame it and put it in the living room," agreed Caleb. Back home, the routine started again, even better. The experience of the trip had further consolidated the family bonds. 1 year after the episode with Vanessa, Gregory received an unexpected call. "Hello, Gregory. It's Vanessa." Gregory immediately became tense. "What do you want?" "I want to apologize. I've been in therapy and I realized I acted wrongly toward you and the children. I realize it's too late for apologies. I know. I just wanted you to know that I understand now that what I did was terrible. I hope you are happy." "We are, thank you. And I hope you find help for your problems." After hanging up, Gregory told Joyce about the call. "Do you think she really changed?" asked Joyce. "I don't know, but it doesn't matter. Our family is complete just the way it is. The children don't even ask about her anymore. That's for the best. They overcame the trauma and moved on." That night during dinner, Sophie made an important announcement. "Everyone, I have something to say." Everyone stopped eating to listen to her. At school, the teacher asked us to draw our family. I drew Daddy, me, Caleb, and Auntie Joyce. "And what did the teacher say?" asked Gregory. "She said our family is special because it's full of love, even though it's different from others." "She's right," said Joyce. "Love is what makes a family, not blood." "That's why Auntie Joyce is our heart mother," added Caleb. 2 years later, the family had become an example in the community. Other widowed parents sought Gregory for advice on how to handle raising children. "The secret isn't finding a new mother for them," he always said. "It's finding someone who loves them as if they were her own children." Joyce, in turn, had become a reference among the neighborhood caregivers. Many sought her advice on how to establish emotional bonds with the children they cared for. "It's not just doing the job," she would explain. "It's genuinely caring about their well-being, understanding their fears and needs." Caleb and Sophie grew up happy and secure. They never again showed signs of abandonment or insecurity. On the contrary, they became confident and affectionate children. At school, when asked about their family, they always answered with pride, "We have the best father in the world and the best heart mother there is." During a parent-teacher conference at school, the teacher remarked to Gregory, "Your children are special. They have enviable emotional security. It's the fruit of the love they receive at home." Joyce is truly an exceptional person. The children speak of her with such affection. She saved our family from falling apart. We are eternally grateful. On the 3rd anniversary of Joyce's adoption by the family, Gregory organized a special surprise. He hired a lawyer to legally formalize the shared guardianship of the children with Joyce. "Now it's official," he said, handing her the documents. "You are legally as responsible for the children as I am." Joyce cried with emotion as she read the papers. "This means if anything happens to me, the children stay with you," explained Gregory. "And if anything happens to me, will you take care of me like family? Of course, we are family forever in joy and in sorrow." The children, who were now 10 and 8 years old, understood perfectly the meaning of that moment. "Now, is Auntie Joyce our official mother?" asked Sophie. "Officially, she is your legal guardian, but in our hearts, she has always been your mother," replied Gregory. "So can we call her Mom?" asked Caleb. Joyce looked at Gregory, who nodded with a smile. "If you want to, it would be the greatest honor of my life. So, Mom, what are we going to do to celebrate?" said Sophie, trying out the new word. "How about we make the chocolate cake you both love so much?" suggested Joyce, moved to be called Mom for the first time. 5 years later, Caleb was in his freshman year of high school and Sophie in 8th grade. They were confident, studious, and respectful teenagers. One day, Caleb came home with a girlfriend and wanted to introduce her to the family. "Everyone, this is Chloe. Chloe, these are my dad, my mum Joyce, and my sister Sophie." The girl greeted everyone politely. "Your family is very close," she commented during a snack. "We are," replied Caleb proudly. "My mom has taken care of us since we were little. She is the love of our life." Joyce was moved to hear Caleb refer to her as Mom to his girlfriend. Later, after the girl had left, the family talked about the relationship. "She seems like a nice girl," said Joyce. "She is, and most importantly, she understood right away that our family is special." "Why special?" asked Gregory. "Because our mum chose us out of love, not obligation. That's rare." Sophie, who was listening to the conversation, added, "And because our dad chose our happiness over having a girlfriend who didn't love us." Gregory looked at Joyce with gratitude. "You both understand what a real family is." "We learned from the best parents in the world," said Caleb. When Caleb turned 18, he wanted to have a special high school graduation party. He invited all his friends and made sure Joyce was introduced as his mother. During the speech he gave at the party, he moved everyone. "I want to thank my parents for everything they have done for me. My dad has always been my example of an honest and hard-working man. And my mom Joyce taught me what unconditional love is. She saved us when we were frightened children and turned us into secure and happy people. I love you." Joyce couldn't hold back her tears. She never imagined she would be publicly recognized as a mother by those children she had seen born. When Caleb entered college, he chose to stay in the same city so as not to be far from the family. During the week he lived on campus, but on weekends he always came home. "Why don't you want to go study out of state?" asked a friend. "Because I have the best family in the world right here. I don't need to go far to be happy." Sophie, for her part, was excelling in school and dreamed of becoming a teacher as a way to help other children. "I want to be like you, Mum," she would say to Joyce. "I want to care for children who need love." "You will be a wonderful teacher," Joyce would reply proudly. One day Sophie came home with an important question. "Mom, can I know about my biological mother?" Joyce got nervous, but answered with sincerity, "Of course, my love. She was a wonderful person who loved you both very much." "I know that. But I mean, do you get jealous when I talk about her?" "Never. She will always be your first mother, and I feel honored to be your second mother. Thank you for never trying to erase her memory. She is part of your story." I just continued from where she left off. Years passed, and the family remained close and happy. Caleb graduated in business administration and returned to work at his father's company. Sophie became an early childhood teacher and fulfilled her dream of caring for children. When Caleb got married at 25, he made sure Joyce was treated as the groom's mother at every moment of the ceremony. "Who will walk me down the aisle?" he asked Gregory. "Your father, of course." "And who will welcome my bride as a new daughter?" "Your mother, Joyce." At the ceremony, when the priest asked if the parents of the couple approved of the union, Joyce stood up together with Gregory to give their blessing. "We approve and bless this union," they said together. Caleb's wife adapted perfectly to the family and soon began to affectionately call Joyce mother-in-law. 2 years later, Sophie also married a young man she met in college. At her wedding reception, she gave an emotional speech. "I want to thank my parents for teaching me what true love is. My father showed me how a man should treat a woman, and my mother Joyce taught me how to be strong and caring at the same time. I carry with me all the values you have given me." When the first grandchild was born, Caleb's son Joyce experienced the joy of being a grandmother. The baby was registered as the grandchild of Gregory Harrison and Joyce Miller, formalizing the family lineage. "Grandma Joyce," said Caleb, placing the baby in her arms, "you deserve to know the happiness of being a grandmother too." "It's the circle completing itself," said an emotional Gregory. "Our family keeps growing." Years later, when Joyce turned 70, the family organized a surprise party. Everyone came, Caleb with his wife and children, Sophie with her husband and daughter, plus friends and neighbors who had become family over the years. During the party, Gregory gave a speech about Joyce. "This extraordinary woman turned our house into a home. She turned 2 frightened children into confident, happy adults, and she turned a lost man into a complete father. Joyce, you are our family's angel." Caleb and Sophie, now adults with their own families, took turns making speeches about Joyce's importance in their lives. "You saved us from an uncertain fate," said Caleb. "You gave us love when we needed it, security when we were afraid, and wisdom when we were lost. You taught me that being a mother isn't about giving birth, but about loving unconditionally," added Sophie. "I am the mother I am today because I learned from you." At the end of the party, the family gathered for a photo. Gregory, Joyce, Caleb with his wife and 2 children, Sophie with her husband and a daughter. 3 generations united by true love. "This is our dynasty," said Gregory, looking at the photo. "Built not on blood, but on love. And it will continue for many generations," added Joyce, watching the grandchildren play. That night, after everyone had left, Gregory and Joyce sat in the garden where it had all begun years before. "Do you remember the day you decided to care for the children?" asked Gregory. "As if it were yesterday, they were crying so much and I just wanted them to stop suffering. You saved our family that day. I think we saved each other. Do you have any regrets?" Joyce looked at the lit-up house where they could hear the laughter of the grandchildren watching TV in the living room. "None. This life we built together is worth more than anything I could have ever imagined. Thank you for choosing to stay with us. Thank you for letting me be a part of your family." End of story. And you? What did you think of this story of love and perseverance? Can you imagine the transformative power of true love in a family? Share your opinion in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more emotional stories.